My name is Nathan O'Neill. This is my wife, Casey O'Neill. We've been going to Sea Life. I was actually at Sea Life when it started.
You know, we were looking for somewhere to volunteer, and that's how we got in pre-K. We had previously been involved in youth group, but that wasn't, Rockwall starting, didn't really have anything available at the time, so we started volunteering in the pre-K.
We did want to serve in youth. We did, but we were needed elsewhere, and we obediently followed where we were needed, and then fell in love with the kids. I always knew that I was wanting to be a father someday, get married and start not too long after that. And of course, that's something we talked about before we got married, and we both really wanted kids, and we talked about it like, okay, I think it's time. And after the first 6 months, of nothing happening, started causing a little anxiety. But we were told after a year is when you really should start going to going to the doctor and seeing if there's something that's causing the infertility.
So at that time, I was, went ahead, I was gonna go have a surgery, and I had, the first procedure done. And that was just kind of hopefully help things. And, we were like, okay, so this is what's gonna help us. We're gonna be okay.
So when I went, there was, initial test that came up really quickly. They actually knew the results the same day.
I get a phone call and they tell us that the results are negative. So I walk in the house and I can still picture this entire scene in my head. And he's standing in the kitchen and I look at him and he's like, did they call you? And I'm like, they called, and he's like, what did they say? And that's when I, had to tell him that no, there's nothing.
I could still feel it. It doesn't have as much weight anymore, thank goodness, but the thoughts can still arise. For a while, we didn't really tell anybody. We kind of dealt with that in our personal life.
I have thought that if the reason that God is not allowing us to have children is because there is someone else's daughter who needs us more to parent them, that we can be that. And I will take that any day, that God knew that another baby's gonna need us more than us having one together.
We've prayed about the decisions that we had, and we've talked and argued and talked some more about what path do we want, what path does God have for us. And adoption is where we both landed.
It's such an honor for a mother and a father to look at us and find us worthy.
It's been amazing.
What are you doing?
Hey, so I just want to pop in at the end of your story here.
Oh, okay.
And just want to make a guess at this. And just tell you first and foremost, I love you guys, and I'm so thankful that y'all have decided to share your story with our church. And I just know from being in the room listening to it that it is going to minister to so many people. And so we just wanted to get together and do a little something special for that. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to move a little bit. So y'all take your mics off, and then you'll follow me this way.
There's part of the church that comes in afterwards.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Come on in here. All these people here in this room, and these kiddos here are the ones that you have poured your lives into. These are your kiddos. These are the families whose lives that you have touched. You mean so much to each of us here in this room, and so many more that couldn't be here. And so we just wanted to show up today, throw you a little party, little pre-shower, tell you how much that we love you and we support you, and your church loves and supports you. And then in addition to that, just a few moments ago, you mentioned that you're kind of right on the edge of the financial hurdles. And so our church wanted to come together because we love and support you so much. There you go. That we wanted to give you a little push, hopefully, over the edge there. And so wanted, on behalf of the people of Community Life Church, wanted to give you this check for $2,000 toward your adoption. So there is that. Woo! Isn't that such a beautiful story? You know, the book of James tells us that true religion is to take care of orphans and widows. Psalm 68:6, it says that God sets the lonely in families. What these verses reveal is that adoption is near and dear to the heart of God. And if it's near and dear to His heart, it should be near and dear to our heart as well. My wife and I, we felt called to adopt for years, but the number one thing that held us back was the financial burden. Since then, I've talked with so many families in the same exact situation where they feel led toward adoption but are overwhelmed by the financial obligation of it all. Well, Sea Life wants to help you take the step in obedience to what God has placed on your heart. So I am so incredibly excited to announce to you that Sea Life is starting an adoption grant program where we'll be providing grants to Sea Life families in the process of adoption. So if that's you, we are now accepting applications. Finally, I know some of you, you're so passionate about adoption. And if that is you, you can now begin making a one-time gift or an ongoing gift to the Sea Life Adoption Program and help us bless families who are opening up their homes to children. Man, what a blessing. Thank you so much for being a church that is always so generous.